Over here at Dot & Company, we're talking to agency owners all the time, and the question that comes up all the time is, how many clients should my account manager be managing? And I know this isn't just for the agencies that we talk to, it's something that happens throughout the industry of digital marketing and account management. Let's talk about today how we decide how many clients your account manager should be managing.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
Taylor, love this for us. You know, I love us some math and a good equation on how we get to this magic number. I think there's lots of different things that sort of happen with account management and how we can sort of, I guess, decide on that sort of final number. I know this is your realm of genius as well. So when people are coming to you asking you about how many clients they should be managing, the account manager should be managing, what's the go-to answer?
Yeah, it's honestly the most asked question. So if you're wondering, don't feel alone. And Katie and I have tried to figure this out over 4+ years, you know, and a lot of it's in our head when we're talking to an agency, like, okay, like, what does the team look like? What's the niche? Okay, what are the meeting structure? We're asking a million different questions to really understand this answer. And it's not something that we've realized. You cannot just go out and say, a full-time account manager can manage 25 clients and I can scale from it. That doesn't work. And I wish it did, because wouldn't our life be easier? But there's so many different things that go into this calculation. And we want to walk you through what are the things that we ask agency owners to really identify what that client load should look like. And Katie, feel free to ask me any questions, but we've basically called this the capacity index. And what this means is, based on the capacity of your team, how many clients can they manage based on all these different criteria?
But I think the problem goes back to this agency, like, overwhelming feeling of like burnout, and we don't want to get there, and we want to give our clients the best experience ever. So the go-to answer is, what agency do you work with? Oh, it's ours 100%. They have great service. We get a great result. Like, this is sort of where this comes from. There's definitely tons of clients to be managing, but you really want to do it well too. So I think having these sort of guidelines in place, cadence of meetings, communication time, like, are you getting back to them in 2 hours? You're getting back to them in 24 hours. Like, all these things kind of go into it. So thinking about the agency's kind of mantra, the agency's sort of what you want to deliver on, this is going to help you even with this index, even before you know that you want to give your clients immediate communication, a meeting every week. But those things are so important to just understand as well. What does that experience look like for you and your agency?
I think that's a great point, because the problem is, you know, we might be talking to two different agency owners. One has 3 clients and they are super high level. They have a lot of moving parts. They need a lot of handholding. At the same time, we might be talking to another agency that has 15 clients that need the same service load, because the clients are low touch. They might be a lead generation client and it's monthly meetings and it's easy peasy. They're very different, but they need the same service load. So what we've done is we've kind of broken it down into these categories, you could call it, of different things you need to consider when calculating how much time you need or how much capacity you need from an account manager. And obviously, if this is something that you need help with, reach out. We'd be more than happy to walk you through our calculator, but this will kind of help you. So breaking it down into 3 steps. Step 1 is meetings. Step 2 is client load. And step 3 is admin work. So let's dive into meetings. As we all know, running an agency, we're meeting heavy, whether that's client meetings, onboarding, internal meetings, strategy calls. We love a good meeting. So we can't avoid that. So one of the things we need to think about is, how many client meetings are we having per week? So that looks like an onboarding call. That looks like a strategy session. That looks like a touch base call. Identifying how many hours per week you are meeting with your clients. That is step 1. Number 2 is internal meetings. And I think a lot of people forget how much time an internal meeting can suck. And obviously not suck like
Can
negative.
suck up. Yeah.
Suck up. We don't want to avoid internal meetings, but if you're having a daily meeting that's an hour, well, that's going to make your team less efficient. You're not going to be able to manage as many clients. So that is something to consider.
So welcome back to our podcast brought to you by the CAM community. Are you struggling to effectively manage your client services team? The CAM community has the solution. So our monthly membership offers a 7-module training program, templates, and most importantly, a community of experienced account managers to support your team. Say goodbye to stress and frustration and hello to a successful client management team. Enroll now using the link in the description or visit dotandcompany.co/CAM community and take control of your agency's growth. We'll see you in the CAM community.
And then coupled with, like think more about that. What is going on in my agency that we have to have a daily meeting for 1 hour long? Is it team bonding? Is it like, are we discussing things every day for an hour? What's the efficiency pickup here? There has to be something that we can improve. And I think even to your earlier point, where agencies are now versus where you want to be. And I think, Taylor, you do a really great job. The point of bringing in account management is so you can grow and scale your business. That's sort of the tagline, right? So as you're growing and you're scaling, are you still going to be having internal meetings every day? It's one onboarding call a week now, but in a month, it's going to be 4 every day. So what do those numbers look like where you are versus where you want to be too? Because as we know, account management can evolve and you want to have a really awesome process to bring on all the people. So how do we get there? And what is that sort of max? So we don't have the burnout. So we have to bring on another account manager. So I think that's really important to think of the now versus the where you want to be.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing under meetings is client reports. So some agencies send a weekly report to their clients, some send a monthly report. This looks different if you have automated reporting versus the account manager doing it. I think agency owners think that this is just something that they just push out to the clients. That is not the case. It takes time to really build a report, walk the client through on a Loom, send them a detailed message, make sure that everything is tidied up. It takes time. So really understanding how many weekly reports you're sending to your clients.
And those details too. I think kind of your example earlier of this rinse and repeat sort of agency that has a ton of lead generation clients and they're all in the same niche and they're all doing the same thing. That looks different. Those numbers are all the same. But then there's other agencies that we talk to that really sort of pride themselves in these relationships. So, what does the client need? What does the client care about? That's different client to client. So that reporting might take a little bit longer to do if you're pulling from Active Campaign and Facebook and whatever it might be, Google Analytics, and putting it all into one, doing your Loom. It's more details. So those sort of pieces to the puzzle really need to be considered as well.
Mm-hmm. So step 2, when thinking about how many clients your account manager can manage, is the number of clients. So the service load. Number of clients matters because if you're responsible as an account manager for managing 50 clients versus 5, that's a lot different. There's a lot more touch points. There's a lot more communication, emails, reports, meetings. That looks a lot different. So understanding your total client load and then also your expected new clients per month. So just because you work with 40, are you growing by 10 a month or are you growing by 2? That matters because onboarding a new client takes a lot of time. So we really want to understand, okay, what is your new growth looking like?
And you know what? A really good account manager will be able to manage the internal team as well. So as much as this affects the account management hours, think about the other people in the agency as well. Are media buyers being, overworked? Do they have too much on their plates? Or do they have too little? What are their tasks? So I think the account management person in charge of that can really help really identify those as well. So your agency is really running smoothly and can be super productive. So the different sort of waterfalls effect of account management, right? It kind of goes from the account manager managing the clients, but those clients each have a project, and then there's people on those projects. So it's kind of just the home base for it all, which is such a great place to have a really accurate number for.
And lastly, when it comes to clients, is expected churn. So you should obviously know your expected churn per month. So identifying, total clients, how many new clients are coming in, and then how many clients are going out the door. So just knowing, how many clients generally are on your roster. So that'll help really identify it.
Totally.
Step 3 is admin. So we obviously, account management, actually every role in any business has admin work. Let's not deny that. So how much account management admin is happening? So are your clients sending a lot of emails? Are your team members expected to do a lot of this reporting themselves? Are they expected to do a lot of the SOP development and all these things that go into admin? How much admin is happening per week? Identifying that will help give you a base, of not just how many clients are they managing, but how much additional work do they have?
And I think something to think about too is the priority cadence here too, right? Like, meeting over admin, that you have to not front load something without understanding that the other needs to happen to make that successful. So an hour-long meeting should come with some admin work, so you can really make that a full circle moment. And really, I think, what we talked about at the beginning of this podcast is make that experience really good for your clients.
Love that. And lastly, sales calls. I know this is not our responsibility for how many calls that are happening or, being on the calls, but oftentimes we are looped into the process. So if there's 20 sales calls happening a week versus 2, that can look a lot different for your account manager. So these are some of the things that we look at when calculating this number. It's not a straight hours. It's not a straight full-time equals 25 clients. We need to look at meetings. We need to look at total clients. We need to look at admin. That'll help you give a really good understanding of what the service load needs to look like for your unique agency. And by calculating this out, it'll help you scale so much faster because maybe the service load is 40 for each of your account managers. But when you get to 30, maybe it's time you start hiring another person. So by identifying this service load and understanding the capacity, it'll allow you to have so much transparency into this role in your agency and allow you to scale.
100%. And Taylor, this is something we've kind of introduced here at Dot & Company, but of course, it does sort of lend to that transparency. Tell me, maybe just explain why agency owners love this so much. Of course, they love sort of breaking it out and seeing all the different numbers, but why is this so helpful when you're talking to an agency about account management?
The biggest thing is looking at their specific business. So we know that their agency looks so different from the one next door. And by really looking inside and under the hood, as they say, it really gives them a good understanding of what their business looks like. And they might also understand that, hey, we have way too many meetings. Why am I doing a weekly meeting with my clients when they don't even need it? So maybe they understand that if I could just reduce my meeting load, each of my account managers could manage double the amount of clients. So really looking at things like that helps them understand where there might be leaks in the business, where there's inefficiencies, and really kind of fine tune what this role needs to look like.
And I think that's something even the account manager, again, we're always kind of talking about these really awesome client account managers, but if you have a really good account manager, they're like, listen, I'm talking to this client every day. We're not really talking about, it's great for the relationship, but this is certainly something that could happen once a month, kind of in tune to what the client needs and what the agency needs, kind of working through that as well.
Love it. So hopefully this gave you a good insight. I wish we had a better answer that it was X amount of clients per account manager, but it's just not the reality. And
TBD.
It's taken us a number of years to get there. So if you need help calculating kind of what this looks like, reach out, apply to work with us. We'd be more than happy to walk you through our process and kind of help guide you in the right direction. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed this episode and we will see you back on the Happy Clients podcast. Cheers to happy clients.
Cheers to happy clients.